President Sisi affirms Egypt's full support for Libya's sovereignty and stability. Mustafa Madbouli highlights Egypt's long-standing strategic partnership with the FAO. And joint coordination between the Egyptian government and the central bank continues. You're watching Q News with me, Henny Saif. It's 6:15 Cairo local time, and these are the news in Egypt. Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has reaffirmed Egypt's unwavering support for Libya's sovereignty, stability and territorial unity. That came during his meeting with the Libyan National Army Commander, Field Marshal Khalifa Haftar in Cairo, where President al-Sisi praised the pivotal role of the Libyan National Army's leadership and stressed the need to expel all foreign forces and mercenaries. During their meeting, both sides underscored the depth and specificity of the Egyptian-Libyan ties. Haftar voiced appreciation for Egypt's sustained backing and the personal role of President al-Sisi in restoring stability. The Egyptian president reiterated support for all initiatives aiming at a unified political settlement and simultaneous elections. The talks also reviewed regional developments, especially Sudan, whose stability both sides view as vital to Egyptian and Libyan national security. Egypt has dispatched its 89th aid convoy under the Zaid al-Izza Provision of Honor from Egypt to Gaza initiative, from Rafah to Gaza via Karam Abu Salem border crossing. The convoy carries 256,000 food parcels, approximately 600 tons of flour, over 3,400 tons of medical and relief supplies, and more than 1,000 tons of fuel. Winter essentials include more than 60,000 blankets, 55,100 winter clothing items, 200 mattresses, and over 14,500 tents. Since July 27th, the Egyptian initiative has sent thousands of tons of food, medical supplies, and fuel coordinated by 35,000 volunteers. The Egyptian Red Crescent continues facilitating aid entry at the Egyptian side of the Rafah border crossing, supporting Gaza's population during the ongoing crisis. Egypt hosts the third global conference of FAO representatives from December 8th to the 10th, 2025 in the new capital under the theme Hand in Hand for Better Food and Future, with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli presiding. The conference featured the launch of FAO's Village Initiative to preserve agricultural and food heritage under the Muni network, highlighting rural communities' role in safeguarding food traditions, knowledge, resources, and local innovation. Attendees watched a documentary on the initiative's values and impact. The event, attended by Arab League Secretary General Ahmed Abul Gheith, FAO Director General Ku Dongyu, Egyptian ministers and regional representatives, aimed to strengthen global collaboration to advance sustainable food systems and achieve the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals. Egyptian Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has highlighted Egypt's long-standing strategic partnership with the FAO, dating back to 1947, and its role in advancing agricultural development, capacity building, and regional food security. Representing Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, Madbouli delivered the opening speech at the third global conference of FAO representatives in the new capital, emphasizing Egypt's commitment to strengthening one FAO, enhancing collaboration across UN agencies, supporting vulnerable communities, and addressing challenges from climate change and economic disruptions. The Egyptian Prime Minister affirmed the country's backing for FAO initiatives such as Hand in Hand, promoting sustainable agriculture, rural empowerment, and resilient food systems globally, including in Gaza and Sudan. Arab League Secretary General Ahmed Abul Gheit has warned that food security has become one of the gravest challenges facing the Arab world, with the region suffering one of the world's widest food gaps and relying on imports for over half its needs, reaching 90% in some states. Speaking at the third regional conference of the Food and Agricultural Organization in Cairo, Abul Gheit stressed that unprecedented pressures on agriculture, water and natural resources demand urgent, coordinated action. He highlighted severe water scarcity, conflict-driven hunger, and catastrophic situations in Yemen, Sudan, Somalia, and Gaza, where Israel's siege and destruction have devastated food systems. He urged unhindered aid access, stronger Arab strategies, and deeper cooperation with FAO to bolster long-term food resilience. Egypt's Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati has met with senior ministry officials to review ongoing work and updates on political, consular and administrative matters. Abdulati emphasized continuous institutional development, enhancing consular services, investing in human capital, expanding digital transformation, and strengthening monitoring and evaluation mechanisms to ensure top performance domestically and abroad. The meeting also addressed regional developments, highlighting Egypt's commitment to maintaining foreign policy principles, supporting regional stability, protecting national interests, and effectively managing international files while defending Egypt's positions in multilateral forums across Arab, African, and global arenas. Poland's ambassador in Cairo, Michael Murkozinski, affirmed that Egypt is an important trade partner for Poland in the region. He added that 14 Polish companies will participate in the 10th edition of the Food African exhibition, scheduled to open Tuesday with the aim of strengthening trade cooperation with Egypt. He stated that Poland is committed to enhancing economic cooperation with Egypt to support the continuous development of food safety and sustainable agricultural practices. The Egyptian ambassador to France, Tariq Dahroug, has presented his credentials to UNESCO Director General Dr. Khaled Al-Anani as Egypt's permanent representative to the organization. Following the formal ceremony, the two held a meeting where Dahroug expressed pride in presenting his credentials to the first Egyptian to hold this high-ranking post. They discussed strengthening Egypt-UNESCO cooperation in alignment with the new Director General's vision to enhance the organization's mandate, following Egypt's President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi's directives for coordinated national engagement. Dr. Al-Anani praised the Foreign Ministry's consistent support and emphasized continuing collaboration to advance Egypt's contributions across all UNESCO programs and initiatives. Egypt has participated in the 7th Forum of the Directors General of Development Cooperation Agencies for South-South and Triangular Cooperation held in Bangkok under the theme Enhancing South-South Cooperation for Sustainable Societies. Secretary General of the Egyptian Agency for Development Partnership, Ambassador Nermeen Al-Zawahri, and Egypt's ambassador to Thailand, Hele Youssef, represented Egypt. Al-Zawahri highlighted the agency's role as a key arm of Egypt's development diplomacy, promoting solidarity and shared development among Global South countries, mobilizing financing for sustainable development, and implementing projects across Africa. The Egyptian delegation held bilateral meetings with agencies from Thailand, Korea and Morocco to strengthen partnerships, advance South-South cooperation and support UN Sustainable Development Goals and Africa 2063. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli met with the Central Bank Governor Hassan Abdullah as part of the regular coordination between the government and the Central Bank to follow up on priority economic files and discuss mechanisms for strengthening financial and monetary stability. The meeting reaffirmed the continuation of joint coordination between the government and the Central Bank to maintain the downward trajectory of the inflation rate through constant monitoring of policies and measures aimed at regulating markets, enhancing the availability of essential goods, and ensuring price stability. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli discussed with a number of ministers and officials the efforts to ensure the availability of food commodities and agricultural products in the markets. The Prime Minister reviewed the efforts of both the Ministry of Agriculture and the Future of Egypt for Sustainable Development Authority to provide a wide range of essential food commodities and products. He emphasized the need to ensure that these various commodities and products are made available in appropriate quantities and at suitable prices through the Ministry's outlets and the authority's outlets spread across the country. This morning, Egyptians residing abroad began voting in the first phase of the House of Representatives elections in constituencies whose results were annulled by rulings of the Supreme Administrative Court. Voting is taking place in 30 constituencies whose results were cancelled by the decision of the Supreme Administrative Court in several governorates including New Valley, Aswan, Luxor, Alexandria and Giza. Egypt is advancing a comprehensive plan to modernize its mining system and expand exploration activities nationwide. Meeting between Karim Badawi, the Minister of Petroleum, and a group of chairmen and representatives from mining companies operating in Egypt addressed new investment opportunities and the development of value-added downstream industries. It also highlighted a series of legislative reforms in the sector and the newly introduced incentive packages for prospective investors. Minister of Industry and Transport Kamil Al-Wazir inspected the implementation rate of stations and route of the second line of Egypt's high-speed electrical rail network. The minister also inspected a number of projects carried out by the Ministry of Transport within the framework of ongoing follow-up on services and development projects carried out in Upper Egypt. Several stations are strategically located near major roads, airports and industrial facilities, including the aluminium complex in Naga Hammadi. And Dutch coach Arne Slot has excluded the Egyptian international Mohamed Salah from Liverpool squad travelling to Milan for the highly anticipated Champions League clash against Inter Milan. Salah recently sparked widespread controversy after being benched in consecutive matches, prompting him to make strong statements to the media expressing his dissatisfaction with the way the management and coach have treated him. He also confirmed that his relationship with Arne Slot is visibly tense. That brings us to the end of our news bulletin from Egypt. But before we wrap up, here's a recap of the top stories making the Egyptian headlines this hour. President Sisi affirms Egypt's full support for Libya's sovereignty and stability. Mustafa Madbouli highlights Egypt's long-standing strategic partnership with the FAO. And joint coordination between the Egyptian government and the central bank continues. And for more stories and live updates, please follow Q News on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram and TikTok at Qnews EGY. From all of us here, thank you for watching.